How's it going, everyone? Welcome back into the channel. Happy Victory Monday to everyone watching, and what a great Victory Monday it was after the Packers put a smackdown on the Chicago Bears 38-20, and the ownership of the Bears transferred from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. And what a perfect day to get my Jordan Love jersey in the mail this morning. The timing is immaculate. So in today's video, I want to go over all the PFF grades from yesterday's game. This series is returning for the third season in a row. The PFF grades just came out, so we're going to break down all the offensive, defensive, and even special team grades from yesterday's game. Looking at the players who graded very well, and also some of the players that didn't grade well at all. And also, if you are a new viewer here, definitely go down and click the subscribe button if this type of video does interest you, because I will be doing this the day after each game, as well as everything else Green Bay Packers. So if you want to stay in the loop with everything Packers, go down, click subscribe, and then also leave a like on the video. All right, so without further ado, let's bring up the screen and waste no more time, and we got to start on the defense, because this defense balled out yesterday, and there's so many players with really nice grades here. We see the top three, primarily Quay Walker, Rashawn Gary, and Devontae Wyatt. We see Quay Walker here with a 92.1 defensive grade, 71.7 run defense. His only poor grade was a tackle grade at 41.5, and also a 91.7 coverage grade. He had 2 tackles. He had 1 missed tackle. That's probably why his tackle grade's a little bit low. He had 2 stops. He was targeted 4 times, allowed 3 receptions for 36 yards, but of course he had that interception, which he took back for a touchdown, and he allowed a passer rating of 62.5. What an excellent game to start year 2 for Quay Walker. He did suffer, it seemed like, a concussion at the end of that run, so hopefully he'll be all good to go in the next coming weeks. Maybe he'll end up missing 1 week. Concussions are very weird and different, so we'll see throughout the week what his status is. Then we see Rashawn Gary with an 83.4 PFF grade. Now, he only played 12 total snaps, so obviously on a pitch count here, he actually played less snaps than I thought he would. But the thing was, when Rashawn Gary was out there, it looked like normal Rashawn Gary. He was going against rookie Darnell Wright and just schooling him in every aspect. Like, he 100% looked like a rookie in this game, and that's Rashawn Gary coming back from a torn ACL. So super impressive from Gary here. He had 5 total pressures on 12 snaps. That's absolutely absurd, 10 of which were passing down. So half of the time he played on a passing down, he recorded a pressure, which is an insane 50% pressure rate. Man, what a comeback for Rashawn Gary. I can't wait to see him in more action this year. And the Packers need to extend Rashawn Gary. Right now, go out, extend Rashawn Gary, get that done. Then third, we see Devontae Wyatt with an 82.5, including a 71.6 run defense and a 74.2 pass rush grade. He also had 6 pressures, 2 sacks, 4 hurries, only had 1 missed tackle, so that's why his tackle grade's a little low. So just like Quay Walker, what a start to his second year, having a really, really nice game here as well. So going over some of the other grades at the top here, Rasul Douglas is 75.7. I thought he had a good game, and this shows that as well. One of the most important ones here is Darnell Savage. 60 total snaps. He had a 72.3 grade, an 80.2 run defense grade, and an 87.1 tackle grade. That is the highest tackle grade of his career, which is super important because Darnell Savage, one of his main issues was tackling in his career when he's playing, pretty poorly the last 2 seasons. So to see this is excellent. He played downhill, read and react like he should, and I thought Darnell Savage had an excellent game. He only allowed 2 receptions on 3 targets for 28 yards, did allow a 96.5 passer rating, and I think one of those targets was that Darnell Mooney corner route that he was pretty much wide open, so I understand that was probably the only bad play I saw from Darnell Savage, but he had an excellent game. Moving down the list, Preston Smith is 72.3, Eric Wilson played only 10 snaps, kind of garbage time, at 70.9. Kenny Clark, a 70.8. I feel like PFF always grades Kenny Clark with poor tackling, and I get it, he did miss a tackle, but he's always around the area. Like, although he might not make the exact tackle, he's always in on it. That one play where it was a screen, Kenny Clark pressured Justin Fields and then realized it was a screen and ran right to it and made the tackle. I mean, just absurd awareness there. I thought Kenny Clark had an excellent game, and I feel like PFF never really does him justice. Jair with a 70.7, DVC with a 70.6, even Colby Wooden up here, 69.7 with 4 total pressures. So many rookies yesterday provided for this Packers offense and defense. Moving to the bad grades on defense, I guess everyone would kind of assume two of them would be Rudy Ford and Keyshawn Nixon. Nixon with a 49.3. Now the touchdown to Mooney, I don't fully put that on Nixon. I talked about that in yesterday's video. It looked like kind of a miscommunication between him and Rasul in the cover 3 scheme they were running. So more so miscommunication there in my opinion. Keyshawn Nixon, didn't have a great game, but I didn't think he had the worst game as a defender for this defense here. Honestly, I thought it would have been Rudy Ford, but he also had a bad game here. He had 52.1 with a abysmal 32.3 tackle grade here with 2 missed tackles. So I understand that. Isaiah McDuffie, a pretty poor grade. He only played 19 snaps. Obviously came in after Quay Walker suffered that concussion. We see Ennis Gaines down here, but he only had 5 snaps. We do see Carl Brooks down here as a bottom 5 grade here. You know how high I am on Carl Brooks, so I'm going to just have to respectfully disagree here. A 54.8 grade. I didn't expect him to have like an 80 or something, but I kind of expected like the 60s or 70s range. The dude had 3 pressures and a sack in 29 total snaps, 20 of which were passing down. So honestly, with those stats alone, I feel like his grade should be better. He also had 1 stop and he didn't miss any tackles. So honestly, I don't know why he's a bottom 5 guy here, but Carl Brooks, I thought, had a great game. Same with Colby Wood. And like I said, the defenders, these rookie defenders showed out. Lucas Van Ness, a 60.8 grade. He had 5 total pressures and a sack and 4 hurries. Again, another grade that, in my opinion, should be higher just based on the 5 pressures he had in 24 passing downs. And overall, if we sort it by pressures, the Packers have 36 total pressures, which is the lead for all defenses this week. I believe the Cowboys last night had 35 in their destruction of the New York Giants. The Packers still had more pressures. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, which we'll go over, I think the Packers allowed the least pressures. So their offensive line and defensive line balled out last night. Going over some of the coverages real quick, we see Quay Walker. We already went over his coverages. Rasul Douglas allowed 2 receptions on 4 targets for 11 yards and allowed a 56.3 pass rating. Jair Alexander, 56.3 pass rating as well, only allowed 1 reception for 4 yards. There was one deep slant to DJ Moore that a lot of people are like, oh, Jair got cooked, or a lot of Bears fans are saying that. And obviously DJ Moore, I didn't even really realize he was on the team yesterday because he only had 2 targets, I believe, or 2 catches. So I wasn't too worried about it, but Jair was like in an outside zone. So I'm happy that that didn't get credited to Jair because I didn't see it credited to Jair. So he only allowed 1 reception for 4 yards. DVC allowed 2 receptions for 12 yards. Carrington Valentine even got some snaps. He played 17 coverage snaps. He got 2 tackles and didn't get targeted. And at the bottom, some of the poorer players. Keyshawn Nixon allowed 7 receptions on 8 targets for 60 yards and a touchdown. So they did credit him with that miscommunication touchdown. He allowed a 137.5 pass rating. Clearly the worst coverage guy in terms of grade for the Packers defense yesterday, which, is going to be something to monitor. I was saying this kind of all preseason. That's a question mark there. Keyshawn Nixon stepping into the starting role at that nickel spot. So definitely something to monitor. All right. So now moving on to the offensive grades. And before I looked at this, I was going to think, my top guy offensive grade wise, I believe, is going to be Zach Tom, because I thought he had an excellent game, probably one of his best games of his career, and really showcasing why he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the NFL at any position on that offensive line. And as I looked at the grades, Zach Tom is at the top here. An 84.8 PFF grade with an 83.6 pass block grade and an 83.0 run block grade. What a game by Zach Tom. We see Romeo Doubs, obviously the 2 touchdowns. He had an excellent game filling in pretty much for Christian Watson, being that pure number 1 wide receiver yesterday, and was a safety blanket for Jordan Love on multiple 3rd downs, and that fade route just mossing Tyreek Stevenson. Just an awesome play by Doubs and Love. He had a 78.4, including a 76.6 receiving grade. Bakhtiari, another player with a high grade, didn't practice all week and still owned the Bears. It's just hilarious. 78.3 offensive grade, 89.9 pass blocking grade. We know how good David Bakhtiari is, and I know a lot of people don't really like the fact that he's not practicing, and they're saying trade Bakhtiari. Bakhtiari is one of the most important pieces on this offense right now. This offensive line blocking for Jordan Love like they did yesterday is going to allow him to succeed. So although you may not be happy with David Bakhtiari's health or not practicing, when he's out there and he's playing, he is one of the best left tackles in the league. He showed it yesterday. Then we see Aaron Jones with a 71.3. Honestly, surprised this isn't higher. He did really well yesterday. Surprisingly, we see Royce Newman up here in the top 5. It's only 5 snaps, so a little bit of an asterisk there, but a 70.2. Kind of went in on garbage time, I believe. Samori Toure, my main man, with a 66.9. He played 21 total snaps. Luke Musgrave, also a pretty decent grade here, a 63.3. John Runyon, a 63.1. Jaden Reed, a 62.9. Elton Jenkins, a 61.1. And Jordan Love, PFF didn't like him too much, but he has the highest passer rating from all quarterbacks this week. EPA per play is the highest. I thought he had a really good game. Yes, he has to clean up some stuff, but I don't believe he has a 60.8 PFF grade. Maybe more so in the 70s or the high 60s, but it is what it is. I thought he played well. I thought he made great decisions, and he was super efficient on 3rd and 4th down, like super efficient. Going to the poor grades on offense, there's one player that I definitely expected to be down here, and that is Josh Myers, the worst rated player. I mean, Sean Clifford's below him, but he had 5 snaps, and there was a fumbled snap in one of them, so whatever. I'm not even going to count him as the worst graded player. To me, it is Josh Myers, and he had an abysmal game. A 44.0 grade with a 67.5 pass block grade and a 40.0 run block grade. Just a really poor game by Josh Myers. We've kind of had worries for him going into the season, and the worst happened. Just not a good game, so definitely something to monitor moving forward. DeGuara has a low grade. I'm actually kind of surprised by this because when I was watching the game, I saw a couple times where DeGuara made some key blocks on run plays, but maybe I missed some of the very bad ones because he had a 47.4 run block grade and a 47.3 overall grade. Tay Wicks, I also thought he had a really rough game, and this kind of shows that. A 47.7 overall grade. Tucker Kraft only saw 13 snaps, so he's still really just transitioning. He didn't have a great grade at 53.2. Ben Sims had 9 snaps, so only a little bit less than Tucker Kraft, not a great grade. And A.J. Dillon, I thought he didn't have a good game either, but the offensive line did hurt him in some occasions where he had nowhere to go, especially on that toss play out of the shotgun, so you can't blame it all on him, but it looks like sometimes he's just not finding the right hole, and his ball carrier vision isn't the best. So we'll see the availability of Aaron Jones this coming week, but if he can't go and it's, a slight hamstring grade, he'll likely be out a week or two, and we're going to have to fall on A.J. Dillon, maybe even Emmanuel Wilson for the next game or two. So hopefully A.J. Dillon can step into that role against the Falcons and maybe even the Saints. Patrick Taylor, 55.2, and Malik Heath, a 55.4. I thought yesterday that Torrey ended up getting more snaps than Malik Heath, but Malik Heath actually had 29 total snaps, but 20 of them were on run plays. So they had him out there to run block, which makes sense because he's really good at that, or at least he's shown he's been good at that. So Torrey here we see only had 9 run blocking snaps and 12 passing snaps. So Torrey was out there for more passing plays, and Malik Heath was out there for more total snaps, including running plays. Then finally, to go over special teams, we see at the top here, John Owens, Tucker Kraft, Patrick Taylor, Keyshawn Nixon. So great to see Tucker Kraft up here. If he's not going to get on offense too much, he's going to have to contribute on special teams. And it looks like he had a really good game on special teams in terms of this grade. John Owens had a tackle, Keyshawn Nixon had a tackle, DeGuara had a tackle, Isaiah McDuffie. I thought it was a great performance by this special teams unit yesterday, especially Anders Carlson hitting all of his kicks, 5 extra points, that 52-yarder that looked like it would be good from 70. I thought Daniel Whelan punted well. The punt coverage was excellent. The kickoff coverage was excellent. They were making tackles left and right, weren't really missing tackles. And there was only 1 penalty on the special teams on Ennis Gaines. I see Eric Wilson down here with a bottom 3 special teams grade. Don't understand that at all. Maybe I missed it, and I'm not watching him every single special teams play because I'm not. But I thought he had an excellent special teams performance, especially on that one tackle. I think it was a kick return or a punt return where he just was shot out of a cannon and basically tackled the guy right away. So I thought he had a great performance. He was like the 2nd highest graded PFF special teamer last year, and I thought he replicated that last night. But I guess PFF has him graded low. But overall, I thought it was an excellent performance by the special teams. So that does it for all the PFF grades I have from week 1. The Green Bay Packers laying down a smackdown on the Chicago Bears, 38-20. Let me know what you think of these grades down in the comments below. I think a lot of them are realistic. There are a few that I don't necessarily agree with, but I think a lot of them kind of do show how that game went and what players did well and what players didn't do too well. And of course, if you do like this type of video, definitely leave a like down below so I know to keep making this sort of thing. I like going over these grades. I want to make sure it's something you guys want to see as well, so leave a like down below if that's the case. But that about does it for this video. I appreciate everyone watching. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.